Be sure to check the timestamps in the description to easily navigate the video. And welcome back to Lycan Studios. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. So I'm not too sure how long this video is going to end up being today. Probably not too long, but we are covering a couple pretty cool things, including this awesome announcement. So I figured I'd go ahead and just get it out of the way. So this Thursday, I want to say the 14th. Yeah, the 14th, I'm going to be joining Azor Ahype on his live stream. I absolutely can't wait. I think we're going to be talking about mostly like in-game theories. I think we're going to be talking about like Danny, you know, the Hound, Azor Ahype, which I'm going to have to brush up on that theory a little bit because you guys know I'm not too fond of it, but we're just going to be talking about all kinds of things. We'll probably dive into the prequel and stuff. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely go subscribe to his channel. Everything will be in the description below. I'm sure most of you guys are already subscribed to him. He's also trying to start a GoFundMe in order to go to this con in California. He's going to actually try to meet George R.R. Martin. So I'll link that in the description below as well. If you guys want to help him out, it would be absolutely amazing of you. Definitely check out his Patreon as well. But yeah, so I definitely want to hear from you guys. What kind of in-game theories and stuff and like fates of certain characters would you guys like to hear us talk about? It's of course going to be live, so you can definitely be joining the stream and ask us questions in there and stuff. We'll definitely be pulling questions and stuff from the chat. But if you guys have anything like big you really want me to talk about and you really want him to talk about, definitely let us know in the comments below. But yeah, that's pretty much the big announcement. I'm going to be joining him on Thursday for his live stream. It's absolutely going to be fantastic. One more time, definitely check the link in the description. But anyways, we're going to move on to some more prequel news that just came out yesterday. So as always, you guys know that I just read straight from the article. So today's is titled, George R.R. Martin opens up about the specific setting of the greenlit prequel, the other spin-offs, and the Winds of Winter. So it says, it took us a few days, but George R.R. Martin has finally commented on the news of the greenlit prequel pilot, based on his expansive world of A Song of Ice and Fire. Martin goes on to give us an update on his work on the next book in the series, The Winds of Winter. You probably learned not to get too excited about such updates a long time ago. Let's just say you will, yet again, not be disappointed in your disappointment. But he also reveals the fate of the other spin-offs in development. There are a few surprises there. On his newly revamped Not a Blog, Martin expands on the setting and possible titles of the greenlit pilot. His suggestion confirms our suspicions about its specific setting, based on the report, early synopsis, or synopsis, whatever you want to say, which pointed us to the darkest era in the Age of Heroes, The Long Night. And that's exactly the title Martin would choose. I think Game of Thrones, The Long Night would be absolutely awesome, because you know the HBO, I think it even says it in this article, they're probably going to want to keep a Game of Thrones in the title somehow, just as a marketing type thing, and you know, that's what the big like title is. So anyways, it says this one really puts the pre in prequel, since it is not set 90 years before Game of Thrones like Dunk and Egg, or a few hundred years, but rather 10,000 years, well, assuming the oral histories of the first men are accurate, but there are maesters at the Citadel who insist it has only been half that long. We're very early in the process, of course, with the pilot order just in, so we don't even have a director yet, a cast, or a location, or even a title. My vote would be The Long Night, George R.R. Martin says, which says it all, but I'd be surprised if that's where we end up. More likely, HBO will want to work the phrase Game of Thrones in there somewhere. We'll know sooner or later. It's just obviously one of those big marketing things. Like, they already have Game of Thrones huge, they have the logo, all that good stuff, so they could easily just make it like a Game of Thrones, The Long Night, or something like that. I think that would be very cool. As for production itself, Martin is quick to praise the accomplished Jane Goldman, who will pen the pilot and serve as a showrunner if the series is picked up, which I don't see how it won't be, honestly. And just as quick to make it clear, his involvement is purely advisory, at least for the time being. Of course, the reason Martin can't be more involved in the show, or the later Game of Thrones season for that matter, is that he's still hard at work on his 6th book. All of the news stories about the pilot being greenlit are slapping my own picture up there next to Jane's, which is very flattering but also a little misleading. I've consulted with all of the writers on all of the successor shows, and several of them have visited me in Santa Fe for long days of discussion, and we've gone back and forth in email, text, and telephone, so I've definitely been involved. But really, the accolades here should go to Jane. She's been an absolute thrill to work with, and my God, what a talent. And yes, before you ask, work on Winds of Winter continues and remains my top priority. It is ridiculous to think otherwise. If I wasn't busy with Winds, don't you think I'd be scripting one or more of these pilots myself? It's not as if I've never written for TV. Now that would be awesome, but nonetheless it says, as for the other successor shows, as Martin refers to them, they haven't been shelved just because Goldman's was greenlit for a pilot, or not all of them have at any rate. He says, you know that we started with 4 shows and then we went on to 5. One of those has since been shelved, so they've already gotten rid of one pilot. This kind of surprised me a little bit that they already got rid of it that fast. He says, "I'm given to understand. And of course, Jane's pilot is now moving to film, but that does not mean that the others are dead. 3 more Game of Thrones prequels set in different periods and featuring different characters and storylines remain in active development. Everything I am told indicates that we could film at least 1 more pilot and maybe more than 1 in the years to come. We do have an entire world and tens of thousands of years of history to play with, after all, but this is television, so nothing is certain." It says, though it seems unlikely that HBO would want several Game of Thrones prequels on air at the same time, it's good to know that this wasn't there can only be one situation. There may have been a competition for which one of the 5 shows in development got into production first, and one of them may have been shelved, but there are still 3 other stories in this world which may get to be told someday. If you were disappointed by the long night setting of Goldman's plot, perhaps your preferred one is yet to come. So honestly, I could see them like greenlighting another pilot, and then I could see them shooting 2 pilots or 3 pilots possibly, but probably like max out at 2, and then kind of compare and contrast it and seeing like what characters are more likable, what they think the audience would get into, and then go from there. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if another pilot is greenlit. You know, HBO has the money to do it, and then as soon as one of these pilots actually gets picked up and they start filming, you know, the seasons and stuff, it's going to be huge, absolutely huge. They know they're going to make all their money back, but definitely let me know what you guys think. The other 3 could be, I would say one has to be Aegon's Conquest. That one would be my favorite. I still think like that would be really cool. I just really like dragons and stuff like that, so that's just kind of perfect for me. But nonetheless, the Age of Heroes, the long night, it's gonna be absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to talk more about it on the live show coming up with Azor Ahype. So anyways, definitely check all the links below. Thank you so much for watching. Today's video was kind of short, but nonetheless, I just wanted to tell you guys basically George R.R. Martin's take on the whole greenlit prequel series. So nonetheless, this has been Lycan Studios. We'll see you in that next video. Make sure to follow me on Snapchat. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys are the best, and we'll see you in that next one. Peace.